all sports, especially football. My name is AJ Willis. Today I'm going to discuss with you the topic of male and female relationships, interactions in the workplace, as well as workplace equality. More and more women are working than ever before. It's especially seen in the United States. In the 1950s, only 1 out of every 5 women worked. Today that number is up to 3 out of 5, so 60%. While America would be considered ahead of the curve, most of the world is a little bit behind. Another country or area that's considered ahead of the curve are the Scandinavian countries. In Scandinavian countries, men and women are actually seen as being equal, and at least 70% of all women are working, which is about the highest you'll find on a global scale. More specifically, Swedish women have more middle management as well as political positions. Iceland's actually the first country to have a political party solely made up of women, and they still are the only country with that. Finland, actually 38% of their parliament are female. So another example of someone that's going to be ahead of the curve. If that's one end of the spectrum, there's also the other end. That other end is going to mainly consist of the Middle East, in which you can see in your handout, that's where you're going to get the variety of color. Mostly in the Middle East, especially your India, your Egypt, your Saudi Arabia, women are just not seen as being equal to men. So this also gets reflected in the workforce. Actually, in Egypt, only 1 out of every 10 women work, and they're usually secretaries or a low-paying, low-responsibility job. If those are the ends of the spectrum, you also have your in-betweeners. For those, I consider China and Korea. While also being male-dominated countries and cultures, women are still working more often. They're just not working as high positional jobs. They're usually the secretary role, something low pay, low responsibility. Same thing for the Netherlands. While 71.5% of women work in the Netherlands, 3/4 of those jobs are actually part-time jobs. So only 1/4 of the Netherlands women are working a full-time job. This gap in positions actually also leads to a gap in wage. There's actually 11% difference between male and female pay in the Netherlands. You can also see that in the United States. Even though we're ahead of the curve, the average male still makes more than the average woman. This is also the case in Finland. Remember, Scandinavian cultures consider men and women completely equal, although they're still making less money. The trend of pay being higher for men than women is on a global scale. It's universal regardless of the culture. And pay, as well as other issues, lead to many equality issues in the workplace. One factor that makes it difficult to understand these relationships are the different stereotypes that occur, not only in our own country, but in other countries as well. Thanks to the media, a report by Axtell, Briggs, Corcoran, and Lamb shows us that U.S. stereotype women as being aggressive, glamorous, and promiscuous when they're in the business environment. And on a counter to that, they present men as being weak and easily walked over or dominated by women. Take it for what you want. You can see it more so in like your TNT or NBC dramas. You're seeing more female protagonists that are in the business world, and they definitely give off that promiscuous and aggressive behavior. While that might be our stereotype, the Middle East would find this laughable just because of how much women are suppressed. Another issue with equality in the workforce is going to be the sexual harassment issue, which is way more prevalent in the United States. Americans really have to tread lightly as far as the sexual harassment issue goes. It's not an issue in many other countries. Mexico, it's actually tradition for the men to come in and kiss the women on the cheek. And actually, interestingly, there's fewer reports of sexual harassment in those countries than in our own. So in conclusion, while women are working more and more and becoming more and more of a presence in the global workforce, we still have a long way to go in equality as far as pay and just the way we treat women as a whole. So thank you.